What up, brawlers? Welcome back to Throwing Hands. It's Jarrett. Jarrett, we got a lot to talk about, don't we?
Absolutely. What a
So
crazy.
we're gonna hop right into it. Uh, we're starting with Brunson versus Duplessis. Let me just get some things set up. Oh man. All right, so um Brunson, this is the second fight in a row in which Derek Brunson's towel has had to be thrown in. I think it's time to hang up. Time to hang it up, man. Like
Yeah,
if
absolutely.
if that's happening twice in a row, and Duplessis was gassed. If you can get this dude out of the first round, anyone in the top five will destroy him. I think. But
Yeah.
Brunson, he's had as solid as a career you can get without winning a title. I think it's time.
Yeah, absolutely. I think he thinks it's time too. The tweet afterwards for all those who have watched my career, thank you. It's just given that shades of it's over, I believe. I believe too.
Yeah, he should. But if Duplessis can get his cardio in check, I think he can become a problem. However, he was gas. He's 30, and he was gassed after one round. I don't know what to do. But uh, Cody Garbrandt versus Trevin Jones. Cody Garbrandt made this look a lot harder than it had to be. I think he did solid in the first two rounds. In the third round, he just coasted him. Like, why are you just finish the fight? You can finish Trevin Jones. Like Trevin Jones is gonna get cut soon, probably. He's not that guy, but Cody Garbrandt, man, I
Yeah,
just don't get how he's fallen so hard.
I don't get it either. Some people just take those hard losses differently, but it didn't look obviously he got away with the win. It was UD. It was a very obvious UD in my opinion, but it just still did not look like the Cody Garbrandt that was. Like me and you both said last time, that fight against Dominic Cruz, he was honestly, in my opinion, he was one of the best fighters ever in that
Yeah,
fight. Honestly, but just I agree with you. How far he has fallen is crazy, and I honestly don't want to see him really pursue much after this. Just kind of maybe take a different route now, but I don't see him anywhere near the top again
yeah.
anywhere soon.
Someone said this is the time to make Cruz versus Garbrandt too. If that's the fight, I'm kind of for it. Not gonna lie,
Yeah,
I'm game. So
yeah,
why the hell not? To the
do
main
that and
card.
because now they're gonna start throwing him these like young killers.
Yeah,
Their resume.
please just give him Cruz or something. I think Cruz wins it though, but you know, Bo Nickel versus Jamie Pickett. Bo got the job done real quick. Ref missed
Yeah,
a nut shot, but I don't think it would have mattered that
yeah.
much to be
It
honest.
definitely, I don't think it would have been too much different. Just separate the space, and he's back in. But whiffed on the kick and then rebounded. I do agree. Bo swears that it was on the inner thigh, but who's gonna admit to doing that? And Bo's never been one to have a small ego. I think that's what a lot of non-wrestling fans who are MMA fans have a problem with him. Bo has always been a huge personality. That's why he's one of the most popular college wrestlers of all time because he had that spark that made college wrestling fun to watch. He wasn't afraid to celebrate, he wasn't afraid to talk trash. After winning national titles, he was like not kind of talking shit, but talking his stuff back to Ohio State. Um, but yeah, he's a big personality, man. He's not gonna, just roll over and say, yeah, it's a cheap shot. But who knows if that exchange? I think that exchange happens anyway afterwards. I think he gets in on a shot and still finishes it.
Yeah, that wasn't even a proper arm triangle, guys. Shows you
Yeah,
how good of a grappler he is. It was a terrible arm triangle. Like,
he's so strong. From every interview that I've heard, he's so strong. Like apparently, it's like freakish.
yeah,
So
yeah. Well,
he's got those wrestling muscles, man.
Bo knows. Shout out to Bo Nickel, man.
Bo does know.
Mateo Scamrot versus Jalen Turner. Kudos to Mateo Scamrot, man. This is a tough fight to take on short notice. I thought it was pretty unanimous. I thought
Yeah.
Gamrot won 2 rounds. But coming out on short notice against a guy like Jalen Turner, who's super long and hard to, he's a tough fight for anyone. He looked really good and solid. I think he deserves another top 5 matchup
Yeah,
after this.
absolutely. Yeah, we were saying on one of the episodes the last 2 weeks that I think Gamrot's one of the best offensive wrestlers in in the UFC. There were some shots that were stuff that I think he could have definitely got through, but I think we both agreed that that was his way to win. He went out, executed it, held off the firepower on the feet, and got it done. That was a
Yeah.
good win for him, especially I agree with you on short notice. That's a tough matchup, and he got it done.
Yeah, and I think the ones that were stuffed were very projected because he had gotten
Yeah.
hit and then he just went within seconds. He just shot.
Yeah.
So the ones that were stuffed were super projected. But
Yeah.
shoot, man, Jalen Turner's a tough guy to get down, and he held him there too. I mean, against a taller guy like that, he could put his legs up, and it's hard to get over. If you're, Gamrot's not a big lightweight. He was a featherweight champion back in KSW over in Poland. So, kudos to him, man. Kudos. That was tough. But kudos to this dude, Shavkat Rakhmonov, defeating Jeff Neal by standing rear naked choke with 43 seconds to spare in the whole fight. We learned a
Yeah.
lot about Shavkat. Here's what we learned, I think. Here's what I learned. He got that dog in him. He could fight through adversity. He has a chin.
Yeah.
He could strike with the best. Jeff Neal is probably the best pure boxer in the division. He could strike with the best of them. Uh, he's strong. He is so strong, and that his knees are vicious. He found those openings so perfectly. It was art. It was amazing to watch. Jeff Neal, fantastic takedown defense on his part. But Shavkat, he'll be champ soon, I think.
I agree. I agree. I think it's time to start making the tough matchups for these two, and I think everyone knows what I'm talking about with these two. But get them either whoever it is in the top 5, start pushing Hamza and Shavkat up, and whatever is going on with that situation, have them fight Colby, whatever's going on. Just it's time to start moving them up. Both of them showcased. Shavkat though, man. Definitely, I think what I've been hearing around, it's pretty obvious, but the head movement, I definitely say he needs to work on that head movement a
Yeah,
little bit.
agree.
Start in that top tier of welterweight. But other than that, there's not much else you can say. I agree with you. We've said it time and time again. This guy's got it for sure.
He's the most complete fighter in the division.
Yeah,
I don't even think there's a question about it.
I
Yes,
do.
can Hamzat strike hard? Of course, but his striking isn't dynamic. Shavkat was throwing spinning back kicks, and wheel kicks during the fight. I don't see Hamzat doing that. Could he? Probably, but he's so dynamic everywhere. Guys, this guy's one of a kind. Not saying he's like John Jones, well-rounded, which we'll get to there soon, of course, but he has it, guys. So keep an eye on him. Obviously hardcores are probably listening to this podcast, so you probably do. But if you're a casual and you stumbled upon it, this is the dude you want to follow and get on the hype train ASAP. I feel we were a bit disrespectful in the preview, Jarrett. We spent maybe 45 seconds to a minute on this fight. You could check with us in the comments, guys. But Alexa Grasso pieced her up in the first round. And then, Valentina took it down the next 3 rounds. Valentina whiffed a spinning back kick. But if you see the video, guys, Alexa Grasso was working that and took the back immediately and brutal face crank.
That was
Like
crazy.
brutal face crank. I hadn't seen anything like that. To beat Valentina Shevchenko. Jarrett, what do you think, man?
Dude, this fight is the reason why I didn't have Qdoba for lunch today. I ended up having to eat at the cafeteria because this ruined my parlay. So, am I salty? Yes, absolutely. I'm extremely salty. This one hurt. Hit pretty close to the chest. This was one that I was felt like we were both very sure on. But that's MMA, man. You
Yeah.
know, don't get into sports betting, guys. It's really not worth it for your
Yeah.
mental.
And to we looked at the Tyler Santos fight, right? And I thought it was a fluke, but I think it might just be father time.
Yeah,
And I hate to say that because she is she
one of the best ever. I mean,
she is one of the, regardless of gender, man. She's
right.
one of the best ever, and it's not. She's probably top 10 all time, regardless of gender.
Yeah,
And she might be arguably the best female fighter of all time. You can make an argument for it.
yeah.
Like 7 title defenses. Like she's so good, guys. So this rematch will probably happen. Valentina wants an immediate rematch. You don't deny it. She deserves it. She's arguably the best female fighter ever. But Alexa Grasso, man, I had the privilege of watching beat Calderwood back in Columbus about a year ago. Pretty cool. But that's what makes the sport awesome.
Absolutely.
Anything can happen on any given night, and this happened. This is probably the biggest upset ever, in my opinion, because we talk about Juliana Pena, right? Juliana Pena, rather. My bad. She was in title talks for years. People didn't think Grasso deserved the title shot at the 6th ranked contender in the world. She got the dub. Matt Serra, Matt Serra GSP, I think is the only other one that's comparable in this situation. But man, bro, so good.
I still can't believe it.
I still
When you
can't believe
texted
it.
me that, I had jinxed myself right before. I was like, man, I was 7 for 7 on parlay. I was like, man, I got this. Like Valentina and John Jones. I was like, let's go.
Yeah,
Easy money.
I'm pretty sure all favorites on the card won except Valentina Shevchenko.
Yeah.
Now,
Scary.
John Jones versus Cyril Gane.
That's a bad man.
Um, the Heat. I'm still trying to figure out how to
I don't think
process this. I've watched. You can find the full fight on TikTok, guys. Just look. You can literally look up John Jones. The full fight's there.
I was about to
Take
say
about
the Shevchenko fight was the only one that I didn't go back and watch just because.
yeah. So the most significant strike Cyril Gane threw was a nut shot within the first 10 seconds of the first. But John got to work real quick. Cyril Gane overthrew on a left hand. John got the body lock, and it was over from there. They were both dry. I knew when it hit the ground. I'm like, this is over. He took him down like a child.
Yeah.
And that guillotine that he had is so hard. It's a hard position for Cyril Gane because he can't really pop his head out because his back's up against the fence. And
Yeah.
John Jones like pinned him with a shin and just adjusted and just got the job done. I don't know, bro. What were your thoughts?
It, I'm still at a loss for words of it, honestly, because I mean, I think the funniest thing is like he was saying he was gonna make it look so easy, and people were like, nah, come on. Like even Dana was like, I thought that was ridiculous to say, and then it turned into people saying like the Jake Gyllenhaal fight for the movie looked more like competitive than this fight. Like it's ridiculous. He mauled him, man. Like it's
He just
crazy.
mauled him. Like I've
That's the only thing you could say. It was that quick too. Like
you talk about Cyril Gane. I hate referring to everybody, but everyone who's an MMA fan sees this dude as high level, which he is.
yes.
But the grappling just isn't there for this dude. And if he wants any chance of getting that belt, he needs to work on grappling because John Jones treated him like a child. And that's something I never thought I'd see because I hold Cyril Gane in high regards as a fighter, man. I think he's the future of heavyweight.
Yeah.
But I want to just say this about John Jones too, man. He won his first title back in 2011 at 23 years old. He is 35, has 4 kids now, and he just got his second belt. If father time was to get this dude, it would have happened. Like John Jones, let's take a look at the rankings. Heavyweight. So Jones is the champ, and I don't think there's not going to be movement here. I don't think. Curtis Blades, is that his biggest challenge? What's Curtis going to do with him on the feet? Nothing.
Sergey. No.
Nothing. And then Sergey Pavlovich, I will say he has the same reach as Jones. I think a half inch short, a quarter inch away from. It's not going to do anything really. But I think Pavlovich got ground and pounded by Overeem, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. But my only thing that worries me about that is that being his UFC debut. I think now I feel like I'm still kind of biased because obviously I think me and you are both big John Jones fans. But to look at it realistically, look at how much Sergey has improved since that UFC debut. I think that was maybe if they fight 10 times, Overeem wins 3 of them. Honestly, at that
Maybe.
point, in time, like I think that was a tough debut for Sergey, and I think he strides, and I do think he is. I think he's pretty heavily the most threatening matchup for John Jones. But at the same time, I don't think Sergey gets a title shot anytime soon. I don't think he gets it anytime soon because I'm telling you, the UFC's always been like that. Francis is going to be back within 2 years.
Here's what happens. Pavlovich and Blades are fighting in April. So let's say Pavlovich, gets taken down by Blades a whole lot. If that happens, I have no faith for him against John Jones whenever that fight, if it happens.
Yeah,
Tai Tuivasa, that'd be destruction for John Jones. It wouldn't even be. Don't even make that fight. Like that's immoral. Tom Aspinall, I believe, depending on how he comes back from his knee surgeries, is probably the biggest challenge to Jones.
Yeah,
because he's quick. Oh, people talk about Gone moving like a middleweight. Aspinall does too. His jiu-jitsu and wrestling is very good. The wrestling, especially for someone from like Englishmen aren't necessarily known for being wrestlers. Tom Aspinall's wrestling is phenomenal in that aspect. But I could see John Jones sticking around for 2-3 years, doing his thing, just putting in the work and then retiring on top.
Yeah,
no doubt in my mind.
Yeah.
Where does Gone go from here, man? That's my question.
I think you gotta give.
He's got to go to Dagestan first.
Yeah, I saw that. That cracked me up. Honestly, do you give him the winner of Blades versus Sergey for a number 1 contender? Because I mean, Stipe versus John is pretty much already announced, but do you give him Spivak?
Ooh, I like that fight.
Give Gon Spivak.
Or I think Gon's going to take some time off. He does. He needs to learn how to wrestle. He needs to leave Factory X. At the MMA Factory, rather. Factory X. That's actually a decent camp for him, I think. But he's got to learn to wrestle. But so let's say Tom Aspinall comes back in the latter half of the year, right? I think that's the fight to make. Yeah. I want to see that fight. I want Tom Aspinall to get expedited to a title shot personally. Yeah. It's not a bad fight to make. Gon will need a win. Aspinall needs to get back in there. And it's a winnable fight for Aspinall due to the grappling.
Mm-hmm.
So, dude, I'm all for it. I also love Tom Aspinall. I think he deserves it. But so that'll do it for the review. We got some things to talk about. So Jones, Stipe said on MAR today that it's more everything but 100% that he and John Jones will fight International Fight Week on July 9th, if I'm not mistaken. I fear for Stipe.
Yeah, yeah,
Stipe knows how to wrestle. DC said that he knows how to wrestle, which I think there's a difference between knowing how to wrestle and actually being really good at wrestling.
but
And if let's say Stipe does stuff Jones, what's he gonna do to Jones on the feet? Jones is just gonna oblique kick, side kick. Just keep him at distance. And Stipe's gonna be 41 practically by the time they fight in July.
yeah,
I don't know, dude. This
it's just
is
a fight. It's a fight based off history more than an actual fight that I feel makes sense. And like everyone wants to see it. Yes, I think me and you both will love to see it.
I want to see it.
I'm gonna watch it. But at the same time, it is a fight where it's just like it's not realistic to see Stipe getting a win. But like we said 3 minutes ago, talking about the Valentina fight, it's MMA, man. Anything can happen. Anyone can get put out, but I don't see that happening to John Jones.
Yeah.
So
And I don't think anybody expected John Jones to just get to work like that.
that was scary, man.
That
It
that
was
is and he was stalking Gon that whole fight,
yeah,
just pressuring him, not letting him get his back from away from the fence. He's
that's the
he's
baddest man
scary.
on the planet. That's the baddest man on the planet.
Oh, speaking of that, I'm tired of Ngannou at this point
Me too.
because
It's ridiculous.
he,
Bring him back or stay out, man. Like,
I'm the heavyweight king. No, you're not. You left. Do
yeah,
you realize I'm not a big fan of MMA math, but after watching that, I'm convinced John Jones would have done whatever he wanted to Francis on the ground.
yeah,
Anything he wanted.
yeah.
Like maybe I'd be wrong because, like I said, I'm not a big MMA math guy. However, Francis, you got to stop, dude. You left.
Yeah.
You don't have a, and I don't think he realizes that he wasn't that big of a draw. Like
He's
no one has signed you to box yet.
he's gonna
Why
see
is
how
that?
much Gon made on this week's payroll, and he's gonna start thinking about coming back
He made a
because
lot. He made a lot of money.
didn't he make 1.3, 1.4? Like,
Let me see
oh,
Jones payout.
Francis, Francis isn't pulling that. Francis isn't pulling that by himself if he's fighting a Curtis Blades or a Tom Aspinall, but you can be damn sure that Ngannou versus Jones is selling more than that, especially if they give it a good fight card around it.
Yeah. And this was the most talked about fight card, I think, since Habib versus McGregor.
Yeah, yeah,
Like more talked about than Poirier and McGregor 3 and 2. Like
yeah,
if that tells you anything about what John Jones can pull.
yeah. I honestly, even as much as what John Jones means to the sport, if you would have asked me at the beginning of the year, I still would have been shocked that um Jones versus Gone was more talked about than Volkanovski versus Makhachev. Still,
And that's in part because of the UFC, because they didn't really push that fight too much, which
I
that was
agree.
one of the best fights I've ever seen.
Yeah,
But I think they were really just trying to push like, look, uh, greatest of all time is back. Okay, we gotta discuss this. There's no debate at this point. There's
no
none.
debate anymore. But at the same time, leading up to the fight, I was getting a little annoyed with that because it's like that was all they were focusing on for PR, was the goat's back. And I'm like, if he goes out and something happens in this fight, like it's gonna, I don't know.
I disagree to an extent in that even before this fight, John Jones was the greatest to ever do it, and I don't even think it was
yes,
particularly close.
yes, absolutely. But I don't know where I'm trying to get with that. But
I know. I think I can figure it out. Like if he's really, what happens if he loses? Is he really your goat?
yeah,
Is that what you're trying to get at?
yes,
Yeah,
yes.
I get that
They were
completely.
leaning real heavy on that, and it's really weird to hear these professional sports organizations recognize a current player as the GOAT, if any player at all. And I feel like when they do, it's trying to sell stuff, because even the NFL didn't do that at all with Brady, like Major League Baseball. Nothing else like that has that. And then I don't feel like the UFC has ever really, as their own brand, recognized John Jones as the greatest of all time until it was 2, 3 weeks before his fight week. And
Yeah.
now it was, here's our guy. Here's our guy. This is the UFC poster guy now. And now they're selling him back as the face of the UFC all of a sudden. Where I think for a couple years now, the UFC and John Jones haven't been on the best of terms.
Yeah.
So it's just,
Yeah. Like back to this GOAT thing. After when I was watching that fight, it was like the first time I realized ever watching a fight, like, this is greatness.
yeah,
Because like any sport, really, like I realized at that moment when he got the guillotine, when Mark Goddard separated the two of them, we will never, guys, you can't debate me on this. I'm sorry. I love debates, but you can't debate me on this. We will never, ever in our lifetimes or anyone else's lifetimes see someone that great ever step into the octagon again. Ever.
it,
It's not possible. DJ, yes, he defended his belt 11 times, but who was his most notable opponent? Ray Borg?
he's fighting.
No, what's his face? Who's Olivi's husband? Oh, Benavidez. Joe Benavidez was probably his most notable opponent, and Cejudo.
Yeah,
But he beat one champ.
Yeah.
One champ. One former champ. And that was before he was even a champ. John Jones in his first 4 fights, Shogun Rua, Machida, Evans, Rampage. And then he also beat the best to never win a belt in Gustafsson. And all these he beat 3 generations of light heavyweights.
Yeah.
I want you guys to put that into your mind. And then 12 years later, he moves up a weight class and he's beating the newest generation of heavyweights, and he beat a former interim champ who beat the brakes off Derek Lewis. Yeah. As hardcores, I think, who listen to this, and if you're trying to get into it, I think this is a good podcast to start with. Please subscribe. But you will never see anyone like this again, and you better just tune in every time he fights, because it could be the last time. Yeah. I can't even comprehend fully how great this guy is. I'm not an expert. I just love this sport. He's as good as it's ever going to get in this sport. And there's just no one that can contend with that. 15 title fights, 15 title wins. Khabib had like 13 total UFC fights, only 4 title fights. And if you guys keep calling him the GOAT, for all those you Khabib lovers out there, you're insane. John Jones is greater than Khabib in his first 4 fights, title fights, than Khabib was ever in his other title fights. It's incomparable. If Jones stopped there after Machida, I believe, he'd still be greater than Khabib. So I don't know if you have anything to add to that, Jarrett. I feel like I summed it up pretty well. You guys will never see anything like that again.
Absolutely. I think that's a good cherry on top to it all.
Let's see. What else? It's been a pretty, I mean, it's been calm, guys. Yeah, I mean, obviously, I don't think. Oh, apparently McGregor and Chandler aren't getting along too well. Can't wait to tune into that. I'm excited. Potential 185 fight? Question mark? I'm down for that. But yeah, I think, not much here. I'm sure more stuff will pop up when we preview Piotr Yan versus Merab Dvalishvili. But Jarrett, do you have anything else to add, man?
No, sir. Great weekend of fighting.
Great weekend of fighting, yes. One more thing before we leave. John Jones is the GOAT. There's no dispute anymore, guys. You can't. So take that as you will. We'll be back for a preview of Yan versus Dvalishvili. Spoiled there. Awesome fight. Great card, too. So tune into that, and we'll see you guys next time.